Are you tired of weak, watered-down coffee? Blackout coffee is bold, it is fresh, and it is roasted right here in Florida. Shipped fast to all 50 states. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll and use code SCROLL for 20% off your first order. Don't settle. Upgrade your coffee now. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley Caronia. If you're watching on X and on Facebook, come over and join everyone on Rumble. We're all hanging out in the chat. So join us. Rumble.com/Hayley is the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll in full. So go to the Bongino Report channel. Make sure you're subscribed so that you never miss a show. Of course, if you can't catch us at 6 p.m., I get it. A lot of people are making dinner. They're working. I get it. Listen whenever you want on Rumble or on your favorite podcast platform. No matter where you listen, though, go to the other platforms. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you give 5 stars. You leave a nice comment. Like the chat, everything. Do everything that you can do and send the show to a friend. We're trying to build something here, and I already love all of my homies, so I want more of them, okay? Okay, unfortunately, horrific attack in Michigan at a Mormon church yesterday morning. Also, the FBI is reportedly investigating Jim Comey again, this time for his honeypot scheme to trap Trump officials. This is according to a whistleblower. Also, Serena Williams, tennis star, she embarrassed herself big time at a New York City hotel complaining about a cotton plant. We're going to get into that. Also, AI actresses are apparently the hot new commodity in Hollywood. They're coming for our jobs, okay? AI is coming. I don't like it. I'm scared. We're going to talk about it. Put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Nightly Scroll starts now. Yeah, so unfortunately, a 40-year-old Marine veteran attacked a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township in Michigan. You could see the video there of the horrific flames. The flames engulfed almost the entire church. And the killer is from Burton, which is 6 miles away from where the attack took place. Police say that the attacker rammed his Chevy Silverado pickup truck with 2 American flags in the bed of the truck into the church. He got out of the car and then opened fire on the congregation there. And the special agent in charge of the Detroit Field Division of the ATF, James Dyer, said the killer also used or appeared to have used an accelerant to start the fire. And he also confirmed that there were some IEDs found at the scene of the attack. At least 4 people were killed, 2 shot, and 8 others were injured. And officers ended up killing that man responsible in the parking lot behind the church afterwards. And they responded in just minutes, but of course not before this horrific attack took place. So the FBI special agent in charge of that Detroit field office said that the Bureau is looking for a motive. I know this is kind of frustrating for everyone because it's like you see that, we're going to get into some of his comments that he made allegedly about, anti-Mormon comments, but, people kind of, it's human nature. You want to figure out why someone would do something so horrible like this. And people are trying to piece this all together. And certainly the law enforcement is trying to do that. But here's what we know now. He joined the Marine Corps in 2004. He was a organizational automotive mechanic and also a vehicle recovery operator. He was deployed from August 2007 to March 2008 in Iraq. He also became a sergeant. He had his last duty assignment at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. And he left the military in June of 2008. So he's been out of the service for a while, but he racked up some awards while he was in the service. The Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, Sea Service Deployment Ribbon, Iraq Campaign Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal. This is all according to military records. And this is where we're starting to piece together maybe this guy's motive a little bit. I mean, not according to law enforcement, but just some rumblings that we're hearing that this Burton City Council candidate, Chris Johns, said that he met the killer while campaigning door to door on September 22nd, so just last week. And while they were talking, this guy, Chris Johns, said that the conversation quickly steered to the Mormon church. And this killer asked Chris Johns about the Mormon church and then said repeatedly, according to this guy, that Mormons are the Antichrist. So he kept saying that. And then according to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, she says that investigators are looking into his feelings about the Latter-day Saints and how this ties into the attack. She went on Fox and Friends earlier this morning and said this: from what I understand, based on my conversations with the FBI director, all they know right now is this was an individual who hated people of the Mormon church. And the FBI Detroit field office is asking for tips from the public. It's horrible. I feel like we're living in just a horror movie simulation. It doesn't even seem real that so many horrible tragedies can happen in the last 2 weeks. Like, it just doesn't even feel, this isn't normal, you know? And it just seems like every day there's a new shooting or a new killing, a new attack, something like that. And I don't know how we got here, but we have to put a stop to this. And I don't have all the answers. No one has the answers. But I don't know how someone could be that hateful, right? Every American should be able to worship however they see fit without being gunned down in the process. This is the United States of America. Freedom to practice your religion is protected under the First Amendment. We have seen in the past few weeks this resurgence of faith. And, after Charlie Kirk's death, people are vowing to buy a Bible for the first time, or at least open one if they hadn't for a long time. People were finding churches, seeking out church and religion, trying to find God. I think because it just feels like our society is so godless right now. People are trying to look towards a higher power, whatever that may be, for these people, because it just seems like we need answers. We need faith. We need a community to rely on. We need something.
You feel it's coincidence with the spiritual warfare that, the other side fights too. As soon as there's a tick up in this curiosity about what faith is like, you mentioned how many of these, I've lost count. I couldn't even give you a sequential order of events over the last month of things like this that have happened. It's terrible to say. Yeah,
it is really, really terrible to say. And sometimes it's this political motivation. Sometimes it's this religious motivation. You see we had 2 transgender killers shoot up Christian schools. The one in Nashville, the one in Minneapolis. It's just horrible. And then we see this, and I don't know where this man stood, if he hates religion altogether, or if he himself is a Christian that just hates Mormons, or if I don't know what his religious affiliation is, if he has one at all. But it's just horrible. And, like I was saying, people are going to church for the first time in years. Erica Kirk posted on X yesterday. I saw she said something along the lines of, everyone go to church, or something like, please go to church, urging people to go and seek faith. And for people who have maybe just gone to church for the first time in the last few weeks, please do not let these senseless attacks deter you. We cannot live in fear. And I truly hope that if you were finding faith, that this doesn't turn you away after an incident like this. If anything, these are the moments where you have to find faith. You need a community to lean on. So I pray for this church community as they mourn the loss of the members of the church and the church, their place of worship altogether. This is going to be a massive rebuilding undertaking. So, the people who carry out these attacks are so far from God. They are so mentally ill, so damaged. And I don't know, maybe this had something to do with the fact that he was a veteran and he was deployed, and maybe he was struggling with some kind of PTSD. He was deployed in 2007. So, this did take a very long time for this to happen. I don't know where, maybe he was radicalized in some way. It's just very sad to think about how these people can fall off and get off on the wrong track and carry out something like this.
He's a 40-year-old Iraqi war veteran. And so this guy is, he's been overseas. He's had combat experience. A lot of those guys battle a lot of mental instability. But we'll hold and see what comes out of this. But it is a horrific scene. Can you imagine just the loss of life? But what a terrible scene to see the church, all the structure of that and what it represents, also just burn.
I know, and it's a huge church too. Yeah, it's horrible. So yeah, we'll stay on this. Obviously, when more information comes out, we'll bring it to you. But yeah, it's just absolutely horrible. And we're gonna have Scott Bryson on Thursday for our segment. But we talk about this all the time of like what to do in a situation like this. So I do want to ask him, if it's a place of worship. Oh, it's just horrible. I don't even want to think about it. But people don't carry. I have friends who carry at church. They're not supposed to, but they do.
Well, the interesting thing about this, I was just talking to Justin about it. So much of this is a gun issue, and not like they want to make it a gun issue, and it's a mental health issue and a spiritual issue. This guy drove his car, I believe, through the front door or through a door of the church, and it was loaded. It was almost like a bomb. It was loaded with gasoline, I believe, and that's what's compelled all of this to erupt in flames. And then he got out and started shooting. So I mean, it's just it's a terrible situation, but it just goes to show that we really are at a precipice here of and it's not just gun violence. There's a paradigm shift that seems to be happening in a very negative way, and America needs to pray their way through this.
I know. There's really nothing else to say other than that. Let's just leave it at that. I think we have to pray that, pray for this community, obviously, but pray for just everyone to find God. Seriously. I want to talk about this whistleblower. Apparently there's an FBI whistleblower that spoke to a congressional investigation, and apparently James Comey is in more hot water this time, allegedly involved in his own honeypot trap to get Trump. So here's the headline: FBI investigating claims of Comey-era honeypot operation against Trump 2016 campaign. So there was a disclosure that was obtained by Fox News, and this FBI employee said that there was an off-the-books investigation. So this wasn't where everyone could see it and everyone knew. This was like a secret campaign going on in the FBI when President Trump was running in 2016. And this whistleblower said that he was a part of it, and that James Comey had ordered a probe into President Trump. He personally directed it shortly after President Trump was running for president. That seems very odd to me. Does it seem odd to anybody else? Literally, like when the left talks about being the resistance against Trump, there was a resistance in the government. And I firmly believe that James Comey and all of his cronies were a part of it. But this whistleblower claimed that 2 FBI agents were inserted into the high levels of the Trump campaign, and they were directed to act as honeypots to travel with President Trump and his campaign staff. Then a media outlet, it doesn't say which media outlet, but a media outlet caught wind of this and apparently was about to expose this because they obtained a photograph of one of the agents. They were going to go public with it, and then the investigation was halted. The investigation was then closed because I guess the FBI under James Comey didn't want that to get out, that they were investigating and trying to essentially trap a presidential candidate. The whistleblower said, they were directed to not discuss this operation with anyone because, of course, this was secret. But the FBI did not comment. Fox News asked for a comment this morning, but they did not comment. Isn't that interesting that James Comey, James Comey's been indicted, not for this though, James Comey was indicted for lying under oath, but it just goes to show how corrupt this man is. He hated Trump from the very beginning, before he even, as soon as he announced himself as a candidate, it seems like Comey had him, as a target.
100%. Like, James Comey's, he's being indicted on leaking information through his deputy director to the New York Times. That was fake. And lied about it in 2017, lied about it again in 2020. And so they've got him for that. But also, remember those burn bags that were full of information? I mean, we have a detailed understanding of what happened with the presidential daily briefings involving Comey and Clapper and Brennan, all the way up to, when Trump was the president-elect, and Russia and Hillary. I mean, this stuff is, people have written, Dan was a preeminent individual in educating the United States on what was going on with this. He wrote a book about it. This is a major, major, major deal, and he's at the center of it.
Well, now he's in a prime position to actually get these people.
Take
and we're
the fall.
We're seeing that with Comey. And certainly others are next. There's got to be the Andy McCabe and the Brennan and the Clapper and all these people that were involved, because they were all involved. And it goes all the way up to Obama, by the way.
100% it does. And that's not our conjecture. I believe that's evidence that we think the FBI has about all of that. I mean, it's
about to get good. I think the movie is about to get good. This is going to be the good chapter. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, we're finding out so many things too about the FBI under James Comey, under Christopher Wray. Just last week there was that report that there were hundreds of FBI agents, almost 300 of them, in the crowd on January 6th, and they were being used for crowd control, which FBI Director Kash Patel has said that is not in their job description. But this was all under Christopher Wray, which just goes to show how poorly the FBI was being run. And President Trump posted on Truth Social that Christopher Wray, being the FBI director, was actually Chris Christie's idea. He said it was sloppy, Chris Christie's idea. So apparently, Chris Christie.
Well, we hadn't blamed Chris Christie on anything in a while, so it was good to sort of get him. Come on, Chris, get back in the hunt.
We missed you.
Let's make you relevant for like at least one. Yeah, let's get you relevant for at least one post.
Relevant for all the wrong reasons. But anyway, I want to go into. Well, Andy sent me this video today, and we're gonna play a little game with the chat. We're gonna play this video. You're gonna guess which city in the good old U.S. of A. it is. So everyone watch this. If you are listening and not watching, the person filming this video is descending into a hellscape, a crack den, I don't even know what. Like, it's a underpass. It's an underpass, a pedestrian underpass that is filled with trash, people, beds, it seems, mattresses, clothes, a bike, garbage. I can smell this video, by the way, and it does not smell good. Here are some people in the chat guessing: Philly, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia again, Chicago again, California, San Diego,
Any way
Portland,
that you look at this, Hayley, it looks apocalyptic.
Vegas. Oh, it's horrible.
I mean,
Phoenix.
This looks like a zombie movie apocalypse.
Ugh, like look at all the crap on there's like crud on the stairs too. It's just absolutely gross. San Francisco, people are guessing. Well, it's Portland, Oregon, and that's exactly where President Trump deployed the National Guard to combat Antifa. That has been, and we played a video on this show. This was weeks ago, maybe even months ago. Do you remember it was that black woman in Portland, Oregon, and she was screaming at the protesters, being like, "We can't sleep. You are so loud." I have to find the video, and maybe I'll play it tomorrow. But she is so fed up in this video. This woman is like at her wit's end with all these protesters that are banging pots and pans. They're setting off whatever the hell, fireworks and whatever. They're yelling, they're chanting in front of this ICE detention center in Portland, Oregon. And, this has been happening for months. And it is on almost a nightly basis. Just based off of that video, you can tell these people are tired. The people who are living in that area who have to deal with this every day are tired. They are tired of it. And, with everything that happened last week with the Dallas ICE facility that was shot up, President Trump said no more. So this is in response to another protest that was outside of this ICE detention center in Portland, Oregon. And President Trump said this. He posted this on Truth Social saying, at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I'm also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. His sign off there. And if this tells you anything about Democrat leadership, Oregon is suing President Trump for sending in the National Guard, of course, to help clean up this mess and to take care of what they refuse to take care of, which is loud, boisterous, sometimes violent protesters in this area that are posing a potential threat to an ICE detention facility. No more. So the state of Oregon filed a lawsuit yesterday to block President Trump's plan to deploy 200 National Guard troops. And the Governor Kotek and Portland Mayor Keith Wilson, they responded, and the Attorney General there, they all responded by jointly filing this challenge in federal court, saying that President Trump, of course, is, this is unconstitutional, it is unlawful, and most importantly, they all believe that it is unnecessary. It is unnecessary to clean up their city. And as we've seen with President Trump and D.C., it is good to clean up these cities. The citizens welcome it. And this is a great example, this hellscape that I'm showing you in this video again, of this underpass that's overtaken by homeless people. I think the city needs to be cleaned up. I think they need the help of President Trump. If just by looking at this video, I would say the leadership here is not doing enough. Certainly. They are not doing enough. This is not the standard of living that I would say is representative of living in a great city in the US of A. I just don't think so. So, President Trump obviously responding to these ongoing protests exactly how a leader would respond considering what transpired in Dallas last week. Literally 7 days ago. ICE agents were shot at. The guy actually ended up shooting migrants at the Dallas detention facility. But, this all comes as ICE agents are facing more than a 1,000% increase in threats. We've seen protesters like these in Portland, Oregon. They're all one and the same. They're in all of these cities. I'm sure many of them travel to the cities. I'm sure if they did some research, you would find some overlap between the protesters in LA and all that. And we saw that in the No Kings protests in LA, that they throw cinder blocks at law enforcement and ICE. They have no regard for humanity. So now there are, crazed gunmen who want to teach ICE a lesson by shooting up detention facilities. President Trump is responding exactly how a leader should in a time of crisis because clearly the city has no leadership. They don't think that there's any issue. And President Trump ran on making America safe again, and he's the promises made, promises kept president, so Exhibit A. But of course, Portland's mayor, Keith Wilson, he says, the troops are not needed because if they admit that they need help, they also have to admit that their leadership is a complete failure and their city isn't safe to live in. Plus, it gives them an opportunity to be anti-Trump for all of their anti-Trump constituents. Bleeding heart liberals think that criminals should be coddled, They should be protected in the name of social justice. You know, homeless people should just stay on the street. We should just give them needles and access to drugs and all that stuff. This is the Democrat mentality. These people would rather live in a crime-ridden hellscape than call President Trump for help. Then the governor said that the threats to deploy the National Guard were absurd, unlawful, and yes, un-American. You know what's un-American? People living in that shithole underpass. That's un-American. Living in a city where you have to trip over needles and homeless people to go to work. That's un-American. It's un-American to have citizens in Portland have to call the police multiple times on protesters every night because of the noise complaints and even assaults on innocent bystanders. What's un-American is having illegal aliens come into this country and mooch off of the American taxpayer for benefits that should go to American citizens only. All of that is un-American. So also would like to point out that none of these liberal groups protested when Obama was in office and deported 3 million illegal aliens. They have no problem when Obama did it. Kids in cages, no problem when Obama did it. Separating families, no problem when Obama did it. When Obama did it, there was no unrest because it didn't fit the white supremacist narrative. Now that President Trump is in office, they have to fight him and protest him at every turn, and all these protesters are the same. They show up regardless of the cause. It was climate change, then it was abortion rights, then it was take down Tesla, then it was fight the oligarchy. Now it's fighting President Trump and his supporters. These people are paid to sow division and chaos. And President Trump is going to allow it any longer. So I guess they can take this to court, but President Trump is going to clean up your damn city whether you like it or not.
I think Trump also, doesn't he have the right to protect federal buildings?
Yes.
So it's like,
and
he's there whether you want him there or not.
Right. And there's threats to this building. There are protesters outside. They even had, this was a protest earlier this month. They had like a makeshift fake guillotine outside the ICE detention center. Like, these are threats. These are threats to ICE agents. Like, this isn't funny, especially with what we've been seeing. So, you know, and also like the guy who shot up the Dallas detention facility, he was inspired, we think, by Charlie Kirk. So who knows? Like, President Trump is jumping into action because what if some other crazed lunatic is inspired by the Dallas guy? And then there's going to be another attack on ICE agents. So, oh my goodness, Portland, Oregon. Pray for Portland, Oregon. We have to talk about this Des Moines, Iowa public school thing. Guy sent us this headline and was like, this is so crazy. And I read it this weekend. Wow, just amazing how someone like this illegal alien could get this job around children, and then people are literally fighting for him to keep it. So this guy's name is Ian Andre Roberts. He's an illegal alien from Guyana, and he was in possession of a loaded handgun, $3,000 in cash, and he also had a fixed blade hunting knife at the time of his arrest, but he was working at the Des Moines Public Schools as the superintendent.
That's not the janitor.
No.
I mean, that's, you
Even
know what I
if
mean?
it was, that would be very concerning. But again, like to your point, he's in leadership at the school.
He's the leader of the school system.
Literally. Yep. So, yep. In possession of a loaded handgun. He's a criminal illegal alien working at a school. And he was an illegal alien, like I said, with a final order of removal, and he also had no work authorization. So again, how did he get into this? It beats me. But law enforcement essentially approached his vehicle. He sped away, and then they ended up catching him later on. But he had existing weapon possession charges from 2020. He entered the United States illegally on a student visa in 1999, and he stayed here ever since.
Do you know how many people in public education work their way I mean, I guess, being an educator is hard, right? I mean, the way you make any of the money is to get like a secondary degree, like you get a bachelor's or you get a master's, and then even then you have to commit to teaching 5 or 6 years to continue to even make enough money to pay off the master's. And then people get EDSs, they work hard, they go to school, they bust their ass, they climb a ladder. How in the world does this guy get to the most elite job in the school system and he's not even a citizen?
I don't know. Don't they check when you hire these
$300K
people?
a year, Justin said this guy's making.
He has very nice suits. He looks very well dressed. He's making a ton of money. He's not even supposed to be here. And then this was the craziest part, was I saw a video on X. I forgot to grab it for this. I apologize. But there are protesters. Of course, they are rallying outside. They are so upset that this man, they're acting like he is just this, beacon of light and hope in their community, and they're so going to miss him. And they're protesting for his right to teach their kids when he's a criminal. He's a criminal who had a gun and a knife on him in school. That's Democrats for you. It's Democrat logic. But I want to take a quick break before we've got so much more stuff in the show. I don't even know how I'm going to get to all this stuff. I'm going to try to talk fast. But I want to quickly tell you about Blackout Coffee. Let's talk about real convenience without sacrificing quality. You already know I'm a huge fan of Blackout Coffee. But if you're like me and you need that caffeine fix fast in the morning, their coffee pods are a total game changer. These are not your average grocery store pods. Blackout pods are packed with fresh roasted, bold coffee made right here in Florida. And they work with those single serve pod brewers. It is fast. It is easy. And yes, it is actually delicious. I actually love all of their flavors. If you go to the website, you'd be shocked at the amount of flavors that they have. They're so good. And it's not bitter. It's not stale. You just pop one in and you got a strong, smooth cup of coffee in just seconds. So if you're racing out the door, you're juggling kids, you're back-to-back calls, this is your new morning lifesaver. Morning lifesaver, afternoon lifesaver, sometimes evening lifesaver for me. And the best part is they ship nationwide. So no matter where you live, you can have Florida fresh coffee at your door in just days. Head to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll or use code SCROLL at checkout for 20% off your first order. Okay, quick update from New York City. Mayor Eric Adams dropped out of the race for his reelection. He is no longer going to seek reelection to be the mayor. And he posted a video with his mom, a photo of his late mom. And he was saying, this is only possible in New York and this is the American dream and all this stuff. But ultimately cited a lack of campaign funding and had to drop out. So that leaves Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa, the Republican, and what's-his-face, Zohran Mamdani. Here's what President Trump had to say about Zohran Mamdani. He said, self-proclaimed New York City communist Zohran Mamdani, who is running for mayor, will prove to be one of the best things to ever happen to our great Republican Party. He's going to have problems with Washington like no mayor in the history of our once great city. Remember, he needs the money from me as president in order to fulfill all of his fake communist promises. He won't be getting any of it, so what's the point of voting for him? This ideology has failed, as always. For thousands of years, it will fail again, and that's guaranteed. President DJT. So President Trump swooping in to save the day should New York City vote for Zohran Mamdani, which I think they probably will. But, Eric Adams, he drops out. And then, of course, people are circulating all of these, they find Zohran Mamdani talking about all of his crazy communist wish list items. And here's one of them. Watch.
And one of the things that we've said, beyond saying that we're going to make this a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus workers, beyond saying that we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million of funding for gender affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government threatened to pull out from local providers for that kind of work. And in this moment especially, if we want to fight the Trump administration, we have to do so by fully funding our own services, taxing the wealthiest New Yorkers and corporations here.
He's anticipating a problem with President Trump and getting federal funding. So, of course, to pay for, $65 million for gender affirming care, which, can you believe this, that this is even something that a candidate is talking about? that we're here in this hellscape.
Get out of New York. Escape
out.
from New York. New York is going to look like Portland, and it's going to take a couple years, and it's going to literally turn into Gotham City.
Yeah, I will say New York is in much better shape than Portland and some of these other cities in the Pacific Northwest for now. But yeah, I mean, bruh. And then, of course, to pay for all this, he has to tax the richest people in New York City. So, you know, it won't happen overnight, but you're going to watch more businesses leave New York City for states with, you know, no income tax and other tax breaks. It does not pay to do business in New York anymore. So this man is going to make it worse. Like, people are going to, he is forcing people out of the city. And the people who can afford to pick up and make a better life for themselves, like myself, elsewhere, will do that. We will do that. I did not want to live there anymore. I did not want to raise a family in New York City. So I was like, I am out of here, and I will never look back. I will never, ever look back. And everyone left in New York City will be reliant on government programs that will bankrupt the city in no time, and then other white liberals who voted for this shit who will just deal with it so that they feel like good people.
Well, that's the problem, is that it's a big virtue signaling, you know, circle handshake, for lack of an appropriate term, and they're going to get what they're going to get what they've asked for. Mm-hmm. This guy is completely off the rails. It's scary. Property values are going to dip. People are going to move out of there. I mean, it's going to be a circus with this guy. But he's going to get elected. Haley, who else is left?
I know. Curtis Lewa, who God love him, but he's not going to win. And Andrew Cuomo, he's not going to win. So, yep. That's it. Also, Zohran Mamdani is pledging $100 million to help illegal aliens. So yes, New York City is going to be a sanctuary city for the gays and also criminal aliens. Listen to this.
Our campaign is one that stands by the actual enforcement of the law as it is here in New York City, with sanctuary city policies that have kept us safe. I would also commit to increasing the staffing of our law department by 200 to bring us back to pre-COVID levels, and to ensure that when we look at this city, we are using every tool at our disposal to keep New Yorkers together, to keep families together. 400,000 of our residents are right now in urgent risk of deportation. The city knows that when it provides legal assistance to those same New Yorkers, their chances of going home increase 11-fold. And yet it has only assisted fewer than 200 of those New Yorkers. That's why also a cornerstone of our campaign is a commitment to increase funding for those very legal defense services by more than $100 million, so that we can ensure we're taking every step we can to keep New Yorkers safe, to keep New Yorkers together, and to show the world that they are welcome in this city.
$100 million for the 400,000 illegal aliens that are just in New York City right now. That's
when you give them primary, you know, like downtown Times Square hotels to stay in for free.
Why not? Why not? This is the sanctuary. We'll give you a hotel. We'll pay for your legal bills. How is that not a huge burden on the system? And his freaking government-run, what does he want to do? Grocery stores. Government-run grocery stores. Also, he doesn't want any police, but $100 million for people who broke the law.
People shouldn't go to jail.
No jail. Get rid of jail. No police. And here's money. We're going to help people who broke the law continue to break the law.
This guy feels to me like he's a salesman. Like he's a 2 a.m. QS. What is it? The QS. What is it? The shopping network that's online
QVC.
All night. Yeah, QVC. Like he's a 2 a.m. spot selling ShamWows. Like he just feels like a snake salesman. I mean, none of this is going to turn out, and he knows it.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Totally. All right, I have to go through these stories fast. What do you think I should hit before scrolling time?
Serena
Williams. Tennis star Serena Williams. You know, I grew up playing tennis, and I looked up to Serena Williams. Like, she's extremely talented. She is like one of the best. She's a total beast. Anyway, she was in a New York City hotel room, and she was complaining about the decor because it was cotton decor. Watch this.
All right, everyone, how do we feel about cotton as decoration? Personally, for me, it doesn't feel great. So actually, it feels like no polish remover cotton.
What is she, Michael Jackson with the glove? What's going on?
Is anyone pointing out the fact that she's disturbed by the cotton and then immediately picks it? She's like, this is really wrong. And then she just goes and picks the cotton. Like, are you kidding me? Girl, what? If you have a problem with it, walk away. Then she's like doing her nails with it.
Yeah, the whole thing feels to me like it's just a cheap art project. Some third grader.
I mean,
the hotel felt nice, so they
listen,
put it on the 8th floor.
I would say that I don't like that decoration. I wouldn't put it in my house. I think it's weird. I think it's ugly. But I would just walk away. I wouldn't make a thing of it. You know, she's obviously one of the most successful black women probably in the world. One of the most successful athletes. She's a business owner. She's super wealthy. She's staying in a luxury, probably 4 or 5 star hotel in New York City. And you're complaining about this. Like, you are so out of touch.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the first time I've ever been presented with her like sort of feeling like a diva like this. No, I mean, have you seen this sort of side of this?
Sorry, I still can't. I can't get over the fact that she.
Yeah, I mean, it's a display at a hotel right out of the elevator. It's not cotton balls from CVS.
That's what it looks like. But she started doing her nails with.
Yeah, but it's my point. It's like you're not doing your nails with them.
Sorry, that is so funny. It's so stupid. But anyway, internet sleuths figured out that she also has a piece of artwork in her home that has cotton in it. So riddle me that. Also, like, this I feel like is way more strange to have in your house than a cotton plant. There's like a donkey with, I don't even know what, or a mule carrying some kind of a case or something, a box, and the donkey or the mule is like on cotton.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the feng shui of this piece. I think this is a Hunter Biden piece. I think it's a Hunter
is
Biden.
way too good to be Hunter Biden.
Quiet for a little bit, so he goes on an acid hit and then makes
you can't blow that out of a crack pipe. So Hunter Biden did not do that.
He could try. He could give it the old best shot.
There would be some Parmesan cheese all over it if we did that. All right, Bad Bunny is the next Super Bowl halftime show performer, and Bad Bunny. If you could pull up some photos of him, he's known to push the envelope and wear some female clothes. He likes to wear dresses and skirts and high heels and pink. It's very odd. Glittery makeup. But Bad Bunny, he's been announced as the Super Bowl halftime performer, Super Bowl 60, and his songs are not in English. So that's definitely an interesting choice for the Super Bowl. That's like the most American event.
So a Spanish-speaking drag guy for the manliest sport in the U.S.
Yep. That just goes to show where the NFL is right now. The NFL is doubling down on weird, okay? And I feel like they're moving away from anything that could be remotely considered family-friendly. Like, I have always watched the Super Bowl. I watched the Super Bowl as a kid growing up. The Super Bowl halftime shows have been getting more and more raunchy. And not only that, but they're pushing the envelope and they're not family friendly. Not that they have to be family friendly. Like, they don't have an obligation to make it family friendly. But I feel like all of the Super Bowl halftime shows in recent years have been rap and hip hop. Like, we haven't had a pop girly in a long time.
All right, best one in the last 10 years you remember. Best halftime show.
Missy Elliott.
I know what I'm thinking.
I love Missy Elliott.
Yeah, that was whole the Eminem and Dr. Dre and all that was nostalgic. I'll give them that was cool. They came in the cars. That was neat.
But then like that kind of kicked off the rap thing. Like, I feel like we've been in that mode now for the last few years. And, you know, Kendrick Lamar was last year.
Yep.
Usher the year before that. Pregnant Rihanna with the marshmallows the year before that.
And didn't she just hang in the air for like 25 minutes too?
I don't know. I don't remember that. I remember the marshmallows dancing around her.
Yeah, The Weeknd.
The Weeknd. The one that you mentioned, the Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige. You know what I found interesting? I was doing research on the latest halftime show performers. So Dr. Dre, with that whole like rap 90s, early 2000s rap like compilation one, Kendrick Lamar was the special guest. And then Kendrick Lamar had his own halftime show years later. And then also when Jennifer Lopez and Shakira were the halftime show performer, this was in 2020, Bad Bunny was the special guest. So now he's the halftime performer. So I feel like we have to be paying attention to the special guests because they get their own show in like 2 to 5 years.
I'll give you the best one ever. And the chat can agree.
Best one ever.
The best one ever. The chat will agree here. The Super Bowl after 9/11, right? So, you know, September of 2001. This would be January of 2002. U2 did the halftime show in New Orleans, and they dropped the huge banner down with all the people that had passed away on 9/11 and did Where the Streets Have No Name. With that whole, if you've not seen that, it's unbelievable. They scrolled up the names while playing Where the Streets Have No Name, and Bono had an American flag, you know, stitched inside of his leather jacket. I mean, and just a few years later, that building is blown away by Katrina.
Wow.
And I mean, that if you've not seen that on YouTube, you need to look it up. That's U2 playing the 2002 halftime show. It's amazing.
Justin, what was your favorite?
The Eminem Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That one was awesome.
It was a good one. I guess I don't really feel that passionate about them. I didn't think that Usher was good. I didn't really think that Kendrick was good. I like Kendrick, but I just didn't think that his. Oh, that's really nice.
That's the heart stage that they brought out. It's pretty powerful.
That's very nice. Oh, see, I think they should do country. They don't do country. I think that'd be very cool. Like a Chris Stapleton would be so sick.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Garth Brooks or something.
Anybody that actually playing instruments on stage instead of one guy rapping and 14 girls dancing around him. That, you know, let's get a guy a guitar, NFL. I mean, let's give the people what they want.
But back to Bad Bunny. He has said that he doesn't want to, you know, before he has said that he doesn't want to perform in the USA ever again for fear that his fans would be deported by ICE. ICE can still do that at the Super Bowl, by the way. So I guess the Super Bowl... And I heard that they don't get paid to do the Super Bowl halftime show. They have to pay to do it. So it's odd that he would say yes to this if he said that he never wanted to. All of a sudden, he just doesn't care about his fans. Or his fans, he knows that his fans won't really necessarily be in the audience.
Is he an icon? Did I miss the boat on Bad Bunny?
I'm not
what's
into
going
Bad
on?
Bunny.
Am I getting to that age where I'm getting old and pop culture just don't matter to me anymore? Who is this guy?
I was looking him up because, listen, I don't speak Spanish, so it just doesn't appeal to me. But anyway, because I saw these photos of him wearing dresses and whatnot, I Googled his sexuality, and this is what Google AI told me. Bad Bunny identifies his sexuality as fluid and has publicly questioned the limitations of labels, stating in 2020 that he doesn't know if he will like a man in the future. While he has a relationship with a woman, he is celebrated as a queer icon for his support of LGBTQ plus rights and openly challenging gender norms by wearing drag in his music videos and kissing men in public performances. That sounds pretty gay to me. I don't think straight men, would do anything like that. So certainly, he's on the spectrum.
The picture on the left there when he's in the pink looks like that Jim Carrey skit on In Living Color where Jim Carrey played the roided out Russian chick. This chat knows what I'm talking about. I know you don't, but this is scary that this is halftime.
All right, let's go to scrolling time.
I mean, he's Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, he's Puerto Rican.
So why is he worried about being deported?
Because he's not.
Okay.
He thinks that his fans will get deported.
The Puerto Ricans?
Well, not all of his fans are Puerto Rican.
But all Spanish speakers are getting deported.
Not all.
Is this I mean, but like,
But
what
this is his
generality are we
logic.
playing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He thinks that people who are here illegally are probably listening to his music, and if they go to his concerts, ICE is just going to post up and deport.
I sure hope so.
That'd be great. Makes it easy. All right, let's go into scrolling time. We had some stories that we didn't get to today. What? What?
This is Jim Carrey in Living Color I was talking about. Doesn't that give you like the
Yes.
the bad
Ew,
the
that
Bad
makes me
Bunny
uncomfortable.
vibes?
Ew, I'm uncomfortable. I don't even want to look at that. Yeah, that's Bad Bunny. That's going to be what he wears too in the Super Bowl halftime show. Everyone get ready. Everyone get ready to turn the channel off. Also, the commercials in the Super Bowl suck now too. So now like the halftime show's bad, the commercials are bad. Like they just don't, it's just not the same. Anyway, Tess Holiday. I didn't know who this was, but apparently she is a plus size model. She is a plus size influencer. And
She's a model?
Well, she's an advocate for the oversized community. And she is very politically motivated in her activism. So motivated that she is cutting out everybody in her life, including members of her immediate family. Watch this.
This earth, and I feel like if you're quiet when so many injustices are happening, not just here, but Palestine, Sudan, Congo, etc., then I literally blocked my brother yesterday. I'm not speaking to my mom, my stepmom, my dad. I'm collecting them like Pokemon. I'm like, who can I block next? And it stinks, but I just think that you have to stand for something. And I think as you get older or mature, and I feel like you guys are already far more mature than I was at your age, you have to stand for what matters to you. And when you see things happening, you have to say something, in my opinion. And I understand that there's like safety concerns, and I have a lot of privilege as a cis white woman saying those things, but I can't stay silent. I never will. I said yesterday, like, the right people will find you. The right opportunities will find you. The right friends will find you. The right jobs will find you. And it's not worth a check to compromise your integrity.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
She's talking about, like, you know, you just have to stand for something. People in the chat are asking, she can stand?
She said she's blocking everyone. Is that like an eclipse?
Literally. What I hate is this mentality that everyone you know has to be a political activist now. If you have an Instagram account, if you have an X account, if you are just a normal person, now everyone has to speak out and be an activist. What if you don't want to? What if you don't want to be an activist? What if you don't care? Like, do we not have the right to not care anymore about certain things? Like, you just have to care about every issue. And if your mom, your stepmom, and your brother aren't like speaking out, do they even have a platform? I have no idea. But like, you're gonna cut your own family off because they're not speaking out about these issues. Also, why are you forcing people to speak out when clearly they either don't care or they're not educated enough to speak out about it? Then you just have a bunch of mouthpieces that are morons. What good does that do? You're just forcing people to be activists, but they don't have like any, I don't get that.
There's so much about her that I don't understand. You know, the first thing, you remember we did a story on Southwest a couple weeks ago where they were now making you
buy she's got to buy the whole row.
Yeah, she's 747, 3-seat center. She's all three tickets.
That is, one time I got a row by myself and it was lovely. I didn't have to pay for it. I hate being around people, especially on an airplane. So if I
often wonder how people rise to the level of the word influencer.
Right.
How does that happen with who around America is interested at all in what
fat people
she says?
That's the new
It's people who want to be enabled in their lifestyle. She speaks for people who want to like stay unhealthy, and fat is beautiful, fat is healthy. Like this, it's an enabling type thing. So people who are content with their fatness consume her content, I guess, because she's going to tell them like, you do what you're doing. You don't have to change.
Well, this is the downside of Instagram. It's like that doesn't need to be platformed.
Nope.
You know, I mean, trying to have a little serious, heartfelt moment here amongst all the jokes.
Surprised the platform could support her.
You mean Instagram?
Any platform.
Any platform. That chair. Everything. All right. This next video, this came up on my For You page. CBS is promoting this Boys to Men, Why America's Men Are Struggling little documentary series that they have. And it aired a few days ago. Watch this clip.
With the manosphere, when they say they're red-pilled, what they mean is they have taken the red pill, similarly to Neo, and they've realized that actually everything they've learned about society before is incorrect. There is no patriarchy. There is no misogyny. In reality, it's women who are in charge and women who are oppressing men and men who are suffering in modern society.
Men and boys hear these messages that sometimes their very presence, their very being is a problem. It's problematized, particularly on the progressive left. What you see in some respects, particularly online, the rise of sort of the red pill communities. So if the people over here say your maleness is a problem, the ones over here say, no, it's good to be a man, and you should say that with your head held high, your chest stuck out.
Okay. Who is watching this, by the way? I almost kind of want to watch it just to see what they're saying. But first of all, of course, their like masculinity expert is a androgynous they, them. I don't know if it's a
Pat.
I don't know if it's, what is a Pat?
It's a Saturday Night Live character. You know, Pat, they didn't know she worked in the office. It worked in the office, and they didn't know if it was a guy or a girl. So every time they'd address her, they would be like, "For it's a jolly good person." They had no idea.
Like this.
That's exactly what that is. I don't know what that first interviewer was.
You can always tell when someone's trans because you don't know where they're transitioning from or to, but they are somewhere in the middle. And I don't know what that was, if it was a woman or a man or whatever. But of course, masculinity expert. Because either it's a woman who's trying to be a man or a man who's trying to look like a woman, which makes you an expert in this category, according to CBS.
What are the ratings? Somebody show me the ratings on this. This cost money to make. They have to have, this costs some sort of money to make.
What day was September 27th? That's when it aired. Saturday? That's a Saturday night at 5 p.m. on CBS. Wow. I don't know who's watching that. I missed it too. I did see the promo though. They were trying to get people to watch it, but I did think it was funny that she or he mentioned that women are in charge and women are oppressing men and men are suffering. Do you both feel that way?
That you think that women are oppressing men and men are suffering? No. I don't understand.
I don't think that women are in charge.
I think if you put down your phone and you unplug the TV and you get outside, you get a little John Eldridge in you and you sort of understand what it's like to just be a dude. Like, you know what I mean? This whole masculinity fight is a little inconsequential when you're listening to that tell you what manhood is. Just, live your life and get outside and grow up. These people are like stuck in some paradigm, and it's like it's quit giving people advice and just be quiet. This is not a good idea for CBS to do. So it's like I'm not watching. I got hooked by Boys to Men because I thought that was the actual singing R&B group from the 90s. That's the only reason I would have watched that.
But of course, like the undertone of that video was the red pill movement is what's making men, struggle and all this stuff. Like men are feeling lonely, so they're like seeking out these red pill communities, these incels. Like, I don't really see that in my personal life. This is, I guess, happening online, but I've never met a man that feels this way.
that's the problem with a lot of this stuff is it's just shared digitally and it is not playing out in real life. And so many people spend their whole life or existence in this digital space that like they have no idea what's real and what's not. Put the phone down and just live a life.
Oh man.
I mean, what's blue pill in this situation? Inject yourself with estrogen? Like, what's the other option here?
Yeah.
Because
I think that's what they
that's
want.
more masculine, right? Is to switch teams.
And totally insane. All right, we're ran out of time here, but I have a lot of stuff for tomorrow. So watch the show tomorrow. We'll bring it all to you. And of course, you can follow me on social media at Hayley Caronia on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Truth Social. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow.